Hello everyone, in this video we're going to delve into Jordan Peterson and Ben Shapiro's opinions on gender. As you may know, this has been a very controversial and polarizing topic. In this video, Jordan Peterson and Ben Shapiro discuss compelled speech and whether gender is a real construct or not. Let us know in the comment section if you think gender is a real thing. Let's get to it.
You know, if someone asked me, do I believe that there are gender fluid people? I would say yes. And I would say a young man who's gender fluid, I know what he's like temperamentally. He's high in agreeableness, he's high in neuroticism, so he has a feminine temperament. He's more interested in people than things, and he's extremely high in openness. And so his temperament is fluid. He's creative, and so he's one thing one day and one thing the next. And his fundamental temperament is tilted towards the feminine. But that doesn't mean he's not a man.
Right, exactly.
So so it's murky thinking.
So it looks like what Jordan Peterson is saying is that just because you're a feminine male or a masculine female doesn't mean you're the opposite sex or gender fluid. There are variations in personality among either sexes. For example, on average, women score higher on agreeableness and neuroticism. So if you're a woman and you score lower on agreeableness and neuroticism, that doesn't take you out of the female category or make you gender fluid.
You could say with reasonable certainty that 1 in 10 women has a masculine temperament and 1 in 10 men has a feminine temperament. And so that's a lot of people. And those people, especially if they're also creative, well, they're kind of at a loss in relationship to what to do with their identity, because they're pulled. First of all, they have a hard time catalyzing their identity. Creative people have a hard time catalyzing it. It's like the definition of creativity. They're protean. And so there have been people who play at the edges of gender identity forever. And fair enough. And sometimes that's even admirable if it's done in a sophisticated way. And it's charismatic.
So this is pretty important, guys. Females or males that are considered outliers when it comes to their personality traits tend to be more creative. Creative people deal with identity crisis as a whole due to their creative thoughts pulling them in many different directions. It's not only a gender identity crisis, their whole life is basically in a constant shift from one end to the other. Does that mean that they're a woman today and a man tomorrow? Or is it simply just a normal human experience for creative people? Let's get right back into it.
So you see it in Mick Jagger, you see it in David Bowie, you see it in people like Madonna as well, because Madonna had a hard edge, you know, that was very masculine. And all the Marvel superhero women have a hard masculine edge. And so we find that charismatic because those people are also integrated. But the notion that there's such a thing as gender, that's not right. There's variability in personality and temperament. And the idea that there's no such thing as biological sex, that's just insane.
It's insanity. They've abstracted gender from sex and then read gender back into sex as more important than sex. It's
well, and then why insist upon the biological modifications?
Right.
If there's no such thing as sex, it's like, well, then just act out your role.
Right.
Leave your body alone because it's irrelevant anyways. Well, it turns out it's not irrelevant. You have to go through the surgical transformation.
So what Dr. Peterson is saying is that either you believe in biological sex or you don't. If you believe that the biology behind sex is irrelevant, then why the emphasis on transforming your body to mimic the biological characteristics of the opposite sex? It's something to think about. Sex is clearly a real thing in Dr. Peterson's opinion. It's not a made-up social construct, and undergoing a gender-affirming surgery to transition to the opposite sex is pretty dramatic if you think that there's no such thing as sex. So this is pretty much it for this video, guys. Let us know in the comment section whether you agree or disagree with Jordan Peterson's opinion on this controversial topic. We're just trying to get to the bottom of it. So thank you guys for watching. Appreciate you. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, and see you soon.